I'm here.
I think we are
I'm
live.
trying to save our mosquito life, just in case they're out here.
All right, let me see. See, this is what happens when you really don't go live a lot.
So we're not
All right.
officially live.
We are, but so now I need to fix the framing so that we are both in frame. But now this looks like, look it, it's frozen.
You had to turn your phone the other way then? Sideways?
Hey, can you see us? Look good. Can you hear us? Y'all talk to us in the comments because y'all know I be struggling. Oh, I think what it is too is my laptop probably doesn't have good. I can see and hear you. Let me know too if y'all hear too much like wind, cause y'all know I don't be going live.
Well, if you don't go, you know I'm not going.
I know. All right, let's see. All right, y'all bear with us as we try to get our lives together. And then it's like this little stupid thing. Like how you can't see all my people.
Well, you can
Come on,
also
we gotta get
set it up on
closer.
top. Oh gosh. Yes.
You said I can do what?
To put it up on there too. Let's sit up on there.
Child. All right, y'all. So listen. All right, you say nope, not too much. Oh, nope, not too much wind.
Oh, okay.
So as y'all can see, this is a very ad hoc live. Why? Because I was actually inspired by this one comment. Let me read y'all the comment. The comment said this. This was when I first started talking about not having a job. Ugh. And then I started saying what my game plan would be. Gwen, what are you
Oh,
doing?
multitasking. Go ahead.
Why? What is this? Your tax? Oh, I know what you're doing. But must you do that now? You need to be in the video
I can see,
screen.
like, look at that
But
right
that's a
there.
different thing. This is
Oh.
us right here. That's different.
Okay, hi us.
Okay. I told you, y'all, we are the queens of multitasking. All right. So the what I was inspired by, I know a lot of you have noticed that I've been having a video come out every single day for the most part. Didn't have a video prepared today, so this is why I'm like, we're gonna go live for our today's video. But the comment I was inspired by says this. When I talked about first not having a job, somebody said, get your unemployment, food stamps, Medicaid, and get you some free classes. I got please don't depend on Uber and YouTube. Please don't depend on Uber and YouTube. So my thing was, I'm not supposed to depend on Uber and YouTube, but yeah, I'm supposed to depend on
Medicaid.
unemployment, food stamps, Medicaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they said that, I said, since I don't have nothing but time on my hands, what happens if I put out a video every day on YouTube? How much money can that make? So that's the experiment I'm running. This is why you guys have seen a video practically every day on the channel, because at the end of this, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about, I'm going to share with you guys what I earn, and then we're going to share with you guys what bills we're actually able to pay with that. I don't earn a whole lot of money on this channel. Half the time it's because I'm not even doing that many videos, honestly. So that's what this is. So hey, Rhonda and Nicole and Cameron, Tamika. I'm just making your name Tamika. TMKJG24. Why is that your username? Photogenic 305. So Gwen and we are here to answer questions. I have, all right. I have questions that I pulled from some of the videos, and Gwen is going to help me answer it. And she needs to be in the frame. You got to be close to me. Okay, stop and act like you know. We at her house right now. She kidnapped me today, and so this is what comes with the territory. Why did you kidnap me?
So you would have something to do.
And this is what I want. I want you to be just as ignorant with them as you are to me.
That's easy. I'm actually not ignorant with you.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. So, Hey, Lakia. And you know what? It's funny because what time is it? It's almost 3 p.m. I was like, most of you guys are probably at work. But like I said, we didn't even expect anybody to be here. We're just like, we can come up here and talk because we have some questions. So even if nobody was here, we have some things we want to answer. I saw somebody say something. I don't think I have any moderators here. Oh, well.
We can self moderate. You can self moderate, or you just deal with it. You'll be all right.
Uh-huh.
You like to talk. Don't worry. She'll have a response for everything that she sees.
All right. So let's talk about this, Gwen. So the first question I have, I'm pulling from the net worth update video. Okay. So somebody asked this question. As far as net worth, should you include life insurance policies in your net worth? What is your opinion on that?
Network. Well, I mean, I don't know a lot about policies other than if you've paid what if they've been paid for and they have a certain value that maybe is just say a lot of people have in there like 100,000. And if that's paid for, why wouldn't you count that as because it's paid for? But if you're paying for or there's still some stuff money due on it, maybe you could prorate it. But I think that's a personal, you know, thing if you want to include it or not, or to even say because it's an investment. At
Mr.
the same
Sam
time.
I am says it's not realized gains. It's not realized gains. That's interesting.
Why
That's
wouldn't it be? Because I mean, if you paid for it and you pass away, it's still holds its value. You may not get interest off of it, but if it's a paid for thing, it's has a value. Because like they got commercials coming out now saying you could sell it. You can sell those things. So realized upon someone's death, but it is still, in
yeah.
my opinion, valued.
But you also have, is it like whole term policies or what is the policy? The universal life policies where a lot of times people they borrow against their policies. So you have that.
There's all kinds of conditions. I just think if it's something that you don't have to continue to pay for, I know I say this because I have a coworker whose husband's mother bought a ton of policies, and each one had different amounts of payout. And when she passed, they walked away with close to $1 million a piece because this one paid 90, this one paid 100. Those were instant things. Some things
Yeah.
they were paying a lot, and I mean, I guess because she had been doing this for so long that they were already paid off. So those were policies that she had that they got the money from. Now, I'm not sure about, well, because that's the first thing they pay a
Yeah.
lot of times is the policies.
So that brings two thoughts come to my mind. When you say not realized gains, the first thought that comes to mind for me is that's almost all of our investments. Nothing's realized until you sell it. Like your stocks and bonds and it's not realized until you actually sell the trade, until you actually cash out on whatever it is you have. Your home, it's not realized
Right.
until you actually sell the house. So for the most part, all investments are not realized. It's not realized, right? But what you said also made sense to me because think about this. We was just talking about this earlier, Gwen. There's this tactic, a strategy that a lot of wealthy people do. I'm not sure how big their portfolios are or how big they have to be, but the fact of the matter is they never cash in their portfolio, but they're still able to borrow against the portfolio. And what happens with that is when they pass away, they will their portfolio to their heirs, right? So when you think about it, their money was never realized either, but they got around paying taxes because they was able to actually leverage it in the form of loans, but then they're able to actually pass it along to the next generation. The same with your life insurance policy. It is another way, if we talk about generational wealth building, it's another way that you can build generational wealth because this is something that you are leaving, even if you're realizing it after you pass away. So you're actually leaving that to the next generation. Hey, Patricia. So yeah, so Sam I am, Mrs. Sam I am says, I see what you mean. It's fair, different from say student loan forgiveness as nothing is changing. Oh, very much different. The only thing that's going to change with your student loan forgiveness is the fact that until it's forgiven, it is actually a debt. So when you're looking at your net worth, you do have to subtract what you owe in student loans from your net worth. But when it's forgiven, your net worth can appear to go higher because now you no longer have to subtract that debt anymore. So yeah, so that's what I think about that. As far as I'm concerned, I have life insurance policies. I don't even be checking for it like that. So no, I don't add mine to my net worth because I don't be checking for it like that. And I don't plan on dying anyway.
Okay.
So so yeah, and also
That sucks
my
for her
life
heirs.
policy is really through my company,
Right.
which that's a whole nother video.
Yes.
That's a whole nother video, right?
Yeah.
Because really, companies actually get value from holding policies against their employees. But that's a whole nother conversation. Okay.
Next topic, if you like.
Listen, I don't know if student loans get given on death. I mean, that's just like I said, that's neither here nor there. I don't think you should have a net worth now and after, but what I do think is up to the individual what they want to count in their net worth as their assets. That's what I think.
I would say, I mean, I think that's another thing that depends because I don't know if you guys, anybody keeps track of like when you have your student loan. I know when I had one, they were charging $2 every single day.
Ciao.
So, and it was with my husband at the time, we were paying like $350 a month. And then you calculate that $2 a day, and it was like, well, whatever that is, 2 times 30, 60, or whatever. But it was a lot, so you weren't really paying as much as you thought you were paying. So they're doing $2 every single day, every single day. So we would pay like double or sometimes triple if we could. And then they would say, oh, well, you don't have to pay for 3 months. Don't fall for that, because the reason they say that is because that $2 calculator does not stop. So if you have a student loan and you're able to pay on it, think about that $2 and whatever cents, subtract that from what you pay and find out why student loans last forever.
Yeah. I had that same thing when I had my student loans. I thought I was doing a good job paying my student loans off, right? I knew what my balance was and I'm paying it. Finally made my last payment. So I thought.
So you thought.
So
yeah.
I thought. And then they was like, oh no, you owe this amount. What I was paying was off of the balance that I knew I borrowed. I did not add in that daily compound interest
day.
every single day. Every
charge.
single day. So even after I paid them off, I still owed them a few more thousand. And that was just in the compound interest.
Yep.
I was just like, whoa.
So if you get ahead
Crazy.
of it, stay ahead of it.
So, yeah. All right. So I gave you guys what my inspiration was for this video. Again, because we're trying to do a video every day. All right. So the next question I have is this. Oh, let me just answer this question real quick because I've seen this question a few times. On my net worth update, I did my property value. And I had some dudes slide through and say, but isn't half of the property your man's?
Actually, half the property is mine because I'm the realtor, and she probably owes me for having such a great property. She probably owes me half that.
I think you should give me gifts every year because your last gift you got me as my realtor died.
Was that a person?
No, you got me. What did you buy me? All right. So as my realtor, what gift did you give me for my house gift?
A television.
A television. A huge television.
Expensive
The best
television.
television ever at the time when
At
we
the
was
time,
buying
yes.
televisions. Yes, it is no longer. It's dead.
Sorry.
So I really feel you owe me a gift. So yeah. So no.
Friendship.
Half the house isn't my man's. It's my house. A lot of you who been rocking with me for years, you guys know this. I bought the house in 2009. I bought my man in. When did I get my man?
You bought your man.
Where I get my man? I got my
It's been
man
like
around
6 years ago.
2018, 2019. So, and we did not always live together. We were
Right.
not always
Has it been
shacking
a
up.
year? It's been 2 years.
I feel like we've been living together for maybe 2 or 3 years now. Time has been
I think it's
flying.
at least two.
It's been at least 2, but it might be 3.
So he gets 2 years.
Only Jay can
Wait,
answer that question.
he gets a year worth.
He gets a year worth of nothing. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. I
Oh
said,
Lord.
I know. I said this is my way of thinking. Everybody has to pay for a roof over their head, right? So Jay and I, we go 50-50 on the house, on the mortgage, that is. So half of the mortgage, my mortgage is 1536. So half of that is like what? About 700 or something?
15 is 750. You said 36,
Yeah, so half
which
of
is
that.
18.
So, but as you guys know,
768. Thereabouts.
I paid over 600,000 plus the interest plus all this other stuff on the house. So yeah, so half of the mortgage for X amount of years does not equal somebody owning 50% of your home. And it's
It's not even
okay.
about that. It's like
What's
at
it
the
about?
end of the, no, just the fact
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, don't forget to include your man. She's in a committed relationship. It's not like she, this is like, okay, well, this is your, on this day, this is your half, this is mine. Everything that we do is like, you got to divvy up. She does have a man in her life, but she had a life before she had a man in her life. And she had expenses and she paid and took care of things. And everything doesn't necessarily mean it goes to the other person just because they came into your life and supported whatever.
Hold on. Can they see this? Turn
See
this
what?
over. This paper.
I don't know.
Good Lord. She about to give all our business
Oh,
away.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's that question right there. Guys, let me know if at any time y'all hear wind or whatever, or if you can't hear us, or no, we can't. Oh, you can't see this. Okay. So yeah, so let me know if anytime it gets janky up on here. Okay. And then don't forget to thumbs up the live. Don't forget. All right. So our next question is this.
Let's read it.
Okay, I was like, this is a long question, but
You told me to. You told me to do this. I'm doing it.
all right, so here go the question, y'all. Or here go the statement. I just want to read this because it's kind of somebody said Brianna seascape, sescape, somebody scape, escape. Brianna's escape. That's what it is. Brianna's escape. And somebody also said, they had said one time in my comments something like, well, you can answer it politely. You could be polite, while they was all ignorant and rude, but I had to be polite. I say this, it is not my job here to keep anybody subscribed and satisfied. So trust and believe. Sometimes I know I'm gonna run away subscribers, and I'm okay with that, because if somebody can have the audacity to type out whatever they type out, that means it's public, right? And that means we get to address it public however we want. So Brianna's escape says this. I'm curious about something, and I want to see how you feel about this. She says, Elon Musk said a lot of people who had government jobs also had other jobs and were doing very little for their government job. To be a content creator is a full-time job within itself. I've watched your videos for a few years now and realized how much effort you put in your content. Actually, I don't. Y'all see how little. Turning my camera on while I'm driving is not a lot of effort. But anyways. And I don't have to prepare a lot. Why don't I have to prepare a lot? Because I'm telling y'all things from my life. I don't have to do a whole lot of research. I'm not pulling up statistics or looking at other people's videos and ripping off their content to bring it to you guys. No, I'm telling y'all stuff from my life. I can do that with my eyes closed. It doesn't take a whole lot. I've always enjoyed watching them. I know someone else who got laid off because they were a content creator, and I believe perhaps the government is checking Facebook, Instagram, YouTube to see who is on there. I truly hope this isn't the case, but I've noticed other content creators here on YouTube were also laid off. I'm not saying you were not working while you had your government job, but yes, you are. And you put more effort here on YouTube than your government job. You that's exactly what you're saying. But if the government believes that just because a person is a content creator, they are not putting an effort on a government job. Just a thought.
Well, I would say maybe the person is kind of repeating what had been said or what has been said.
Well, she said Elon said it.
Right. So him saying that doesn't make it true, for one. And I mean, I would like to believe that a lot of us know people who have multiple streams of income. And it's important in many cases. And you're at work, just say if you work 8 hour days every day, you subtract that from 24, even if you sleep, that's 16. If you get 16 hours and you still have how many left?
A lot. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know math.
You still have at least 8 left. But you can, I mean, the point is the person saying this, the initial person saying this, if you take note, has a business, a very high paying business that if you looked at the stocks, the lack of attention to that other
And the
job,
person she's talking about is Elon. Yeah.
yeah, well, the lack of attention paid to that job has cost billions and billions of dollars. So for that to come out of his mouth saying he's doing 2 jobs right now and one is being affected by the other. So that's a closer conflict than us. Like, again, I do Airbnb, and because of that, I leave work. I don't go home. Sometimes I go to my site. I do the work that I need to do. I get up and I'm usually at work between 4 and 5, if not 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And we'll work 11-hour days, things like that. So when I'm at work, I have to be at work. I can't focus on all this other stuff. We have restrictions of what we can and can't do. And when I'm not at work, I'm either doing my Airbnb. I'm also trying to delve into understanding and learning stocks. So you can multitask. And regardless of what one person says doesn't make it true for everybody. And I probably assume that many of us know people who have side gigs or whatever you want to call them and put as much effort into those jobs as they do their regular job. That's all I got to say about that.
And this is what I think. A lot of people haven't met people who have our kind of hustle, our kind of drive, our kind of sacrifice. Brianna made this statement on a video where I was multitasking. I was on my way to a party. I was on my way to a friend event and using my time wisely. So while driving, I was like, I have some time to make a video while driving. Right? This is what I've been doing. This is why you guys see a lot of my videos are done in my car, because I'm usually either on my way to work or coming home from work. I work in an office. I don't work from home. So I don't know if that sentiment was to say, like, perhaps you're working from home and you're doing videos rather than working. No, I can't work from work. I can't make videos from work. I cannot edit videos from work. I cannot do anything at work but my job at work. It's all monitored, okay? I make my videos at home. I edit my videos at home. Why? Because when I get home from work, I'm not watching TV. I'm not, I don't know, doing all the other things. I usually get from one desk, my office desk, to my desk at home where I do all of my editing. I do all of my things at home. So yeah, I don't know what that means. If you have a government job, you shouldn't have any other job. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. At all.
It's not the military either. So I think people...
But even military, I had 2 jobs.
No, what I'm saying though is, like, people think that you're doing this job 24/7 and that's all you're doing. And there's certain, there's shifts. I mean, it's just like the commercial world. It's just that you work. So
you have a job.
The government.
Yeah.
And it's a regular job.
And then you have a life after you go home.
Yeah.
Where you get to do what you please.
Yeah.
But even in the military, it's like, I worked at JCPenney in the military, and I was working in the military, and I would get off and I would go to my JCPenney job. So it's like, so that's what that was. But y'all, I answered it in the comment. Hey Nikki, what's up, boo?
But some government jobs don't pay that well, and there's people who don't even make minimum wage or make under $20, and so they have side jobs, 2 jobs. That doesn't mean while they're at the government job that they're sitting around, or you can't clean buildings from home. So
Yeah.
they're physically cleaning buildings and then they leave that job and they go do something else and maybe clean some commercial buildings. So there's all, I mean, that's just because he threw it out there doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
That's the
Because he's
reality
been
of it
throwing
all.
a lot of things out there, a
Doesn't make it
lot of
true.
wild ass things out there. It doesn't make it true. Be careful what you choose to believe. And if it's something that you are choosing to believe or believe in, ask yourself why. Have some critical thinking. Exercise your critical thinking skills at times like this. You're going to have to, because there's a lot of propaganda going around, and it's on purpose. It's not by accident. It's on purpose. Okay? So, the next question is this. This comes from Too Old to Get a Job.
Uh-oh.
This is the question. This is the video she and I did together. And the question was simply, what industry do we work in? Had been a few people who had that same question, because a lot of you guys are new here to the Fun and Budget family. Hey, y'all, welcome, welcome, welcome. I think I mentioned in that video that you and I met at work.
Yeah.
That's how we met over 20 years ago. You've been my friend for 20 years. Congratulations.
You're welcome.
So, what industry are we in, Gwen?
Technology.
We're technology. Who am I? A tester, an application software tester. I think when we met, I think we were system engineers on that job.
Yeah, but I think it's still centered around testing, but it was for systems. Yes.
But when I was looking at my resume, I wrote a lot of white papers on that job.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of white. I was
She
writing,
likes
it was
to
a lot
write.
of research and writing papers and stuff. And then, yeah, I do remember we would go to different sites and we would it was more equipment, right? Wasn't it hardware? Yeah, we were doing more hardware testing and stuff at that time. So, yeah. So that's what we do. And if you guys have any questions during this, just go in and ask your question. Hey, Vicky, welcome to the family. Hi, M Prop, T Gabrielle, Roslyn Grayline.
I can't see any of those names. Good thing you can.
All right, let's see.
The age?
All right, Roslyn says that drive. I worked 2 to 3 jobs most of my working life. And congratulations on your new job. Thank you, Boo. Thank you. Grayline said, I've always worked in the private sector, and recruiters always told me, don't ever get a government job. They don't work. What does that mean, they don't work, Grayline? Does that mean physically they don't work, or physically the job doesn't work? What does that mean? I don't even know. I don't know what that means.
They get a bad rap, but it's I just would be curious as to which type of government job we're talking about.
Yeah, because the government is huge. Government is huge, and so I can't even sit here and speak to all government jobs. I really can't. I can only speak to you guys from what I know and what I've been exposed to. There's a double-edged sword with government jobs where you do work for 3 positions for the pay of 1. That hasn't been my but then again, I'm not a government worker. Like a government, I'm thinking like what are they, like GS somebodies?
Well, just like say you have someone like you develop or you test, you also have to manage like what we talk with Jira and stuff like that, and you might have to manage people. So you're paid one salary for maybe holding down multiple roles or multiple, like you said, you were responsible for say 25 applications. That's a lot to have to test, and to manage that should be split up amongst multiple people.
Where a private sector job would usually just have that one. Like if I was working for, let's say, Amazon, I'm just worried about Amazon products and not like different applications, with various customers and various things. I'm imagining that's what that is. Now let me say this. All right, let me go to the next question. All right. So, hey, Amy and Drop Squad. Mr. Sam, I am wants to know, are we contractors? We absolutely are. We are government contractors. Amy, you're my inspiration to start another career. I'm in 20 years in the government and it's time to move on. Child, government is the wild, wild west right now. That's all I know. Hi, always beautiful. Okay, so here's our next question. This comes from our Costco shopping haul video. It's a simple question. Somebody asks, what is the difference between Cash.App and Airbnb? Are they the same?
No.
They're not the same.
No.
So let me define Cash.App because I know that was new to a lot of people. Basically, a Cash.App is housing, short-term housing for flight attendants and pilots. You're providing a bed for them, providing a bed. And most of you know what Airbnb is. What would you say?
It's similar to a hotel, only you get to stay at the end, the entire, like you get the entire living room, bedroom, bathrooms, you get the entire house or flat or something, and it allows you to, just live in a home for a certain period of time. And we have restrictions. A lot of times people put restrictions on how long you can stay, how short you can stay, and then things like that. But it is completely different. Like I don't let people stay less than 3 days because it's a large space. It takes a lot to take care of and clean and all of that. So we do a minimum.
And I don't let people stay more than 15 days.
Right. Well, ours has to be short-term license too.
Yeah. And I would say the main difference is I'm renting by the bed. And like she said, she's renting by the entire space.
The entire space.
Or there's some people who will actually rent by the room. Because I know I've rented some Airbnbs in other countries before where we just rented the room.
Because sometimes that might be the only space they have available. So I have I don't know if the right word is luxury, but I have a big space that can hold up to 6 people. But there's people who can hold up to 14, 16 or whatever. And because they put beds in a lot of different places, which can look like it's similar to a crash pad, because they'll take a room and put like 3 or 4 bunk beds in because they want to maximize on the amount of people. Mine is a smaller space. The most I put in is up to 6 people, and nothing else. I do have it as if it's a home away from home, and that's how I just take care of it.
Yeah. And so for me to rent it by the bed, to get ready for that, this means that I went out and I actually bought bunk beds and I repurposed my rooms, repurposed the furniture that I had there so that we can fit more people into one room. So that is the main difference between Airbnb and a crash pad. Okay? Now, Gwen, I have a question.
Yes.
So somebody asked this. They asked, because you do automated testing.
Yes.
What do you use? What software do you use?
Well, again, we're in a government setting, so there's certain things that we can and can't use for different reasons that I really can't go into. But right now, we're using, like a lot of people are familiar with Selenium, so we use Selenium for a lot of regression testing. We also use Postman for API testing. We're starting to use Rest Assured, which is another level of API testing. And what else? We tested a whole bunch of tools, but those are the main 3 that we're using right now. Oh, and then we do performance testing, and that was with JMeter. So those are the things that we currently use. And I know some of those are dated, but we can use what we can use in the environment of which we work.
So how did you learn Selenium?
How did I learn it? We have I guess I could take classes myself, but we have this, that Safari thing at work where you can start just kind of teach yourself or learn from other people. Like it's not, your company sometimes has to get you the training. I haven't gotten the training, so I have my own um, application that I use called Codefinity that's teaching me like Java and things like that. So I'm trying to learn more Java, which feeds into Selenium, and then we learn from each other in some ways because
Yeah.
we have a very strong lead,
Yeah. Good.
and oh, sorry, we have a very
Camera.
strong test lead and a few people that know it. So we help each other.
Yeah.
I help people with Postman and things like that, and other people will help me with Selenium. But I'm in the early stages of Selenium.
Same. To learn these things, they're very much self-taught, almost self-taught, meaning that you're going to have to use the resources of those around you who already know it. You're going to have to take your own classes, whether it's on Udemy or what do you use for online? Do you use any of the ones?
Our company has those, but I'm like I said, I'm with Java is what I'm learning right now. I had bought my own um, application.
Yeah. Even YouTube. Even YouTube.
Yeah.
But that was my biggest frustration because what I was always used to in the past was if they wanted you to know a certain application or a certain whatever, they actually would have people come in and train you. That's not always the case. But so a lot of it is like I had to get out there and pound the pavement myself and find courses on my own to teach me whatever the skill set was I was trying to learn. Luckily, the both of us work for companies that will actually give us some money every year for training and such. But it's up to us to be self-sufficient, independent, proactive, to go and actually find things that would teach us whatever the skill set was we were trying to learn.
I'll also say though that especially during COVID, we used to always be able to go to like classrooms because I'm a classroom person. I would
Me
prefer to go to
too.
a class
Yes.
than online, but we were forced to do online. And even now, when I look up stuff, they look like they're available, but most of these are not, and they're only available in certain cities or certain states, and it's not easy to get to from where we are to say they're not going to fly us out to California to go take a test or to wherever, somewhere on the West Coast, north, south. So you have to figure out if you can't learn from other people, you're going to have to open these books and try to figure it out. And then I'm just fortunate that our whole team is a test automation team, and our lead, he is really really good at what he does, and I've just been picking stuff up and trying it, and then I keep going, and the internet has been my best friend.
Yeah. And a lot of times I've been a team of one, so I didn't always have a team to rely on, to
Yep.
lean on, to co-learn with. But you just adapt and you do what you have to do. I think I had a story on one of these videos before where
What's that?
it's us.
Oh.
I had a story on here before where I was saying I had to learn something on my own, and I kept running into blocks trying to figure it out, and I actually went to bed and had a dream, and the dream gave me the answer. And I woke up and I went straight to work. It was probably like 3 a.m. or something, and I tried what my dream told me, and it freaking worked. Yeah, I might be psychic. Don't play with me. Do not, okay? My dreams be coming through. I was about to make a video and tell y'all some stuff, but I had a dream last night that told me not to. I told you what it was, right? Yeah. My dream told me don't tell y'all nothing. They said all of y'all ain't my friends, even though I want you to be my friend and thumbs up the video. Don't start with me. I had a question. Okay, so Jazzy Star says, hello. Is this your beautiful sister? You all look just alike. We used to get that all the time.
We used to get stuff like twins. Like, what in the world? But
Yeah.
so going back to that ageism thing, I'm 12 years older than Tanisha.
She could be my mother.
Never.
She fast.
That don't even sound right.
She fast.
That's real fast. Let's strike that.
No, I'm not striking it because remember those guys who was on our team and you used to call them your sons, but they were my age.
No.
They just looked young and they were skinny, so they just looked like little kids, but we were the same age.
Negative.
Yes. Don't make me go call him and ask him how old he is. You're gonna find out he my age.
They were nicer.
So yeah. All right, let me see. Somebody asked a question. G Boogie, do you ladies know anything about Bitcoin? Have you heard any of the news surrounding the U.S. establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve? We're gonna let Gwen take that.
Oh gosh, I mean, okay,
I sold my Bitcoin. Let me just say that. Go
no,
ahead.
I have Bitcoin. I've been in the Bitcoin realm for a little while. I'm not like I do have it from a ETF, not ETF, but within my 401k, and then some Bitcoin by itself. I'm right now heavy on XRP, but
Have you guys heard of XRP? XRP.
XRP. It's right now, I think it's at, I could tell you what it's at here in a second, but the reserve, they've been talking about that for a while, that a lot of companies or whatever have been buying the coins. Right now, one of the top coins that being bought, of course, is XRP, because it is so inexpensive. I mean, like even a month or so ago, it was down to went down to if it's been a month, $1.61. I know someone who got it at 80 cents. And so,
And right now it was like about $2 and something.
yeah,
Today.
just not too long ago. Oops, when I was telling you about it, it is, I can tell you real quick in a second, but the whole thing would look up XRP, and then it's 209 right now, but it was down to yesterday. I think I got some at like 204, but even before then, I got it as low as 161. There's people that you can follow, but XRP, and look up Ripple.
So tell them what XRP is again. It's a new
Well,
coin.
it's been around a
All right, it's
long
not
time.
new.
It's been around a long time. It's a Bitcoin, and it is because there's Bitcoin, there's Solana, but then there's XRP, then Solana, Carvana. There's so many out there, and sometimes you just never know when something's gonna bubble up. So if you have $5 or $10 that you can put to a coin, you don't even have to add any more to it, but just kind of pay attention, and you can see how Doge is a coin. One of my sons has Doge, but XRP has to do, and I don't know how to explain this well, but Ripple is like they can transfer across different exchanges, and Ripple is like the primary, I don't know how to say owner, but they control the XRP. And with that, you can like right now, let's say if you have 1,000 coins and it's at $2.04, you might not have paid that much. It's at this point, it's 204 or 208. It's worth 2,000,
Yeah.
whatever.
Remember how, like, especially even with Bitcoin, people would say stuff like, "Oh, I wish I would have knew about that before it blew up." So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, you know what, XRP could be that thing you're hearing about before it blows up.
There's a lot about XRP and what it's backed with, and it's backed with billions of dollars. Not to mention that we're going to cryptocurrency. They keep telling you to diversify. Even if you had $100 and you bought $100 worth of Bitcoin or $100 worth of XRP and did nothing with it, and you come back in 2 years and you say, "Daggone it, that's worth $10. My whatever now is now $250. Dang it, if I'd have put in 1,000." So don't sleep on it, but
Let me say this, guys. None of this is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We're
No.
just giving you our own opinion off the street, off the block,
an experience
from the yard. This
and
yard.
I pay quite a bit. I mean, I don't have a full coin. I don't have a full Bitcoin. And just paying 13,000 over time, over COVID, it's over 35, $46,000.
Yeah, we are getting a lot of good questions.
So I'm just saying, it's just like putting your money in a 401k, and you know they're going to be doing ETFs. I always get those wrong. ETF. Well, it's a group of funds together.
Yeah.
And they're doing Bitcoin, and one of them is supposed to have.
We're not gonna go. Hold on. We're gonna talk about that one. I got it written down as a question.
Oh, okay.
But we're gonna talk about that. But hold on. I want to give a shout out to Samir77, who says, "Live your best life." Awesome seeing Gwen from the early travel days. I hope her daughter is doing well.
Yeah, she is. Yes, Cedis is doing well. Her and her babies.
So shout out to you for being one of our day oneers. Y'all don't forget to thumbs up the live. But yeah, our early travel days. video on this channel was when we went to Jamaica. Remember, I never vlogged.
Which one was that? The one at the...
The thing about it was I started this channel as a finance channel, as accountability channel, because I wanted to do better with my money. And so it was like, what better way than to vlog it as well, to record my stuff as I'm doing it. But then when we went to Jamaica that one time was my first time vlogging.
Right, you used to take pictures of everything.
I used to take pictures, and I used to write stories with my pictures, mainly on Facebook. They'd be funny. But yeah, and then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, y'all, but we're gonna vlog this. But yeah, that was Jamaica, like, a minute ago. Yeah. So let me ask that real quick, just to change up a little bit, but we're gonna change back, guys. Don't worry. What would you say your favorite trip with me was?
It was always our Jamaica trips.
Jamaica was fun. But remember, the first time we went, we hated it.
For the first day.
The first day, because we stayed at a resort, guys.
We were spoiled by Dominicans.
We used to go to the DR all the time, which is known, the resorts there are so beautiful.
Yeah.
Opulent, all of that. So when we went to Jamaica for the first time, we stayed at a resort. And then we looked around like, what the?
All-inclusive.
All-inclusive. We looked around like, what the hell is this? We was depressed. We went to bed.
To bed. That was funny.
We was like, you call this a resort?
They even called that. No, that wasn't another place. But yeah, that was.
Yeah. And so we was
stuck as four of us in one little small room with two, not even full. That's almost like we had two twin and a halves. Wasn't even a full size.
Yeah, we was like, oh.
And we were so mad.
And then when we woke up, we said, you know what? We're going to make the best of this.
Because
usually that's our attitude.
Right. Because it was all inclusive. The alcohol was all inclusive. And on top, they had
a menu, the drink menu.
Around. So
that's
what
we said, we're going to make the most of this. We have a new game to drink the menu. We was like, we're going to drink every drink they have up there. And it became that when we opened up our minds to Jamaica, that trip opened up to us. Jamaica became the best place ever.
Yeah, we visited.
We stopped being at resorts.
Yep.
And we was like, we no longer stay at resorts in Jamaica. We stay in the places. We stay with the people.
The locals.
And we do the things. We go to all the places. We be back alley, no light. Y'all, our Jamaica vlogs are a good time. I believe they're on this channel, Fun and Budget. Because I start moving our travel stuff to the other channel, Fun and Budget Travels, which I would say, if you had to say our worst trip together, what would you say it was?
You had to remind me.
I know, right? I would say, see, worst is subjective. But where would you not ever be inspired to go to again? I would say Montreal.
I knew you were going to say that.
Montreal's on the other channel, Fun and Budget Travels, guys. Because Gwen and I are snowboarders. All right. And I'm going to transition this because somebody asked us a question on ageism, right? So we're going to transition this. Gwen and I are snowboarders. We were skiers first, right?
Yes.
And we decided one day, snowboarding looked fun. Let's learn to do it. I was probably, 38 maybe?
No, you're okay. I was 43.
She was 43 when she learned to snowboard.
12 miles off. 12. You were 31.
Really?
You're 12 years younger. So
I felt like I was older than that. Get in the camera.
I'm in the camera.
This camera.
Oh, it's the same thing. Same camera.
So, yeah. So, and I say that because age has always been a state of mind. We were that old learning how to freaking snowboard. If you guys would see the bruises we came home with. You too.
I didn't have it as bad.
But she picked it up before I did. And I was so frustrated. Remember, we would hire private instructors and she was picking it up better than me. And I just wasn't getting enough attention. I had to storm off the mountain a few times. I had to fire my instructor, go get my own instructor because it was rough. It was rough.
Dramatic.
But who are we now, Gwen? We some snowboarding somebodies.
Yes.
We are some
better.
We can snowboard practically anything now. Blacks, blues, all
we get
of
a
the
little
things.
Intimidated sometimes with those.
Usually when we first start out, because I always feel like I want to warm up.
So
she
where
doesn't.
Are you going with this? Ageism?
Ageism, because somebody has a question. Somebody asked the question, Renewed Harvest Homestead. What advice would you give? And this also.
What is that?
What is what?
Renewed Harvest?
That's the name.
Oh, that's their name. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So Renewed Harvest Homestead has a question. And then this also goes back to this. Before I read the question, let me say this. There was another comment somebody left on a video. I'm going to read this. They said this. In my early 40s, I was out of a job for 2 years. I got a job for 4 years and then I quit. No job for another 2 years. Now I'm 50 and there's no job out there for me. No one will hire me at my age. And if they do, the salary will be poor. So I'm stuck at the job I have. I can't do better. No need in fooling myself. That's one. And then Renewed Harvest Homestead says, what advice would you give for starting a new career and obtaining new certifications on top of my degrees? Ageism is real.
I mean, you're not going to convince people that it's not real.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I mean, maybe it may take a while. My daughter has children, and she stopped working after her first child, and she's in her 30s and she can't find a job. So I don't know that it's ageism. Sometimes it could just be the level of experience that you have since you're starting something new. I don't know the answer to that, but that's why I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing, because at 61, I feel like I can't just rest on being a manual tester. I have to expand, and my expansion has to do with getting into the development side of things, understanding automated testing more from the beginning from implementation to actual doing and putting out results. I think it depends on what it is you're learning.
Starting a new career in.
Yes.
Yeah, what are you starting a new career in? Because I say on top of your degrees, I feel if you already have a degree, I don't feel like it's necessary to go back to school.
Certifications might.
But certifications, yes.
But you have to pick areas that there's a need. And I know like, of course, we're going to AI. I don't know all the aspects of that, but look into that to see what that is, where the need is for that. I mean, I'm not promoting Amazon, but they have so many different things that people can get into. At one point, it used to be cybersecurity. At one point, it was dealing with containers and being able to know ops related stuff, operational stuff.
Yeah.
So I think you have to figure out where the need is, and sometimes just looking and seeing where most of the jobs are being asked for. I said, okay, is this something that may be of interest to me?
How do you become an automated manual QA tester today?
Well, I can tell you for us, because I'm on a large team, and we at one point I was the I was the manager of the team, and we ended up with a 15-person team, and we had to go through the whole process of investigating a lot of applications, testing them out. We had to go through the process of we just had to do procuring them, everything. And then we had to finally make a selection. Once we made a selection, again, the guy who was like number 2 as far as lead wise, he knew about automation, he implemented, and everybody just said, some people don't jump out and do anything right away. So we had to learn how to install it, start working on it, looking at it as it applies to certain applications.
My baby Jay in the building.
All right, continue. Oh,
hey boo thing. Let them know.
But it's I was fortunate enough to know not to leave this team, because some people might say I took a step down, but because of how we spread people out, how we spread testers out amongst the development teams, there was no need to have a technical lead anymore, just a manager. And I was fine with that. I wanted to go back to what I knew, that if I'm going to be, I'm trying to think of the word, but if I was going to be able to put myself out there, I had to learn the skills.
Yeah.
And so that's what I volunteered for anything that required me to figure something out technically.
Yeah. And even let me go back to the ageism thing. I'm more of a spiritual person. I'm more I'm into manifesting. I'm into all of that. I do believe you have to change your story. You have to change your story. Ageism is as real as you make it.
I agree with you. I think we all that 100%. If you think about, just look. I always point to Congress. Look at Congress. There's tons of people that are older than all of us by 20 plus years
Yeah.
that can sit in seats forever till they are delirious, and they're
Yeah.
sitting in these seats. And it's just changing your mentality and knowing that. And we work with people who are in their
Everybody
70s,
old. Yeah.
and they're still, but
Respect it.
they're doing what they love. They're good at what they do. um they have, again, I think we've said this before, they have the work ethic.
Yeah.
A lot of them have a work ethic.
We can't. Do not take on the story this world wants you to believe is yours. It's not your story. It's not your story. My thing is, like she said, her daughter in her 30s is having a hard time finding a job. What's the excuse there? What's the excuse there? What is the excuse there? How do you feel about yourself? Are you the one who feels you're too old? How do you feel about yourself? My thing is, even with you said you're, as far as because you're how 61, you're learning this because blah 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 blah. But guess what? You're learning automated testing to keep yourself relevant in the. But I don't feel like that's because you're 61. I think that's all of us. That's everybody in our field. We know that as testers, people are looking for automated testers more and more. So I don't think that has to do with an age. It makes you more qualified than the next person if you do pick it up, because you already know, as I know, not a lot of people know a lot in automated testing. Everybody's looking for it, but hardly anybody can find it.
And we just happen to be one of those teams that had to do it from the ground up. And anybody that we never have a shortage of people wanting to come to the team, but you got a lot of people that aren't trying to leave the team either, and they are picking up things. And we're, it's a great place to be. And I am trying, not that I'm like struggling to stay on the team. I am doing what I need to do so that if I do end up going someplace else, that knowledge is going to transfer with me, or it gives me that foot in the door to getting a job that is seeking automated testing.
Now, let me
Testers.
ask that, because I think that's a lot of people had that question as far as how to get into tech. How do you get your foot in the door? Listen, I'm the wrong person to ask, because I feel like a lot of my stuff I just lucked up into. I stumbled into.
I mean, how do you mean? Because
how do you get, like, if this is somebody who wanted to get into tech, who wanted a job in tech, who wanted a job as a tester?
Well, the same thing I told my daughter. She was interested in automated tests. I mean, not just being a test. She has a degree.
So what you tell your daughter?
I told her to try to get a certification. They have, and I just had this up on my screen. They do have. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that in one of my the job thing. You know how it asks for the skill sets it's looking for, and then it has like desired skill sets, like this would be nice if you had this, but it's not necessary. One of the things was a tester certification. I didn't even know a thing existed.
There is, and I just had it up on my screen not too long ago, and sometimes I be
so tester certification, y'all, it's a real thing. Google it, look it up. There you go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is in a second when I find it again, because I just had it up. But yeah, there's
yeah. And is it, and Libby says IT field is a lifetime of learning. Absolutely. And that's what it is. I feel like when I first got into this field, a lot of the stuff I knew because it was from my degrees and such. So it was relevant at the time, right? Because when you go to school for IT, you're going to learn the applications, the languages, the programs that are relevant at the time. But the time moves, and it moves fast. So it's going to be up to you after that to continue with your own learning. And how do you find out, well, what's happening in the field? go on Indeed, go look to see what are jobs, what are they looking for, what are the skill sets they're looking for, and then get smart on that if that's what's relevant to what you do in your career field. Like I said, I never knew testing certification was a thing, so
It
it might be
is.
something that I look into.
So it's called the ISTQB is the acronym, and it's the
ISTQB.
International.
Let me see.
It's
Let
right
me write
here.
that down.
Yeah, IST. I'm trying to make it bigger.
ISTQB.
Yep.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yep. And you can see that better than I
Thumbs
can.
up the live, y'all.
International
International Software Testing Qualifications Board.
Right, and they go over tons and tons of things. I didn't get the certification, but I did take the course. And they have different levels of it, and it goes into all types of testing. You can get experience in all, resiliency testing, just you name it, type of testing. They talk about it, and if you get that certification, that's a really good certification to have.
Yeah.
A skill to have, but then you're gonna need the understanding the basics.
Yep. And I threw in some other words that you can look up certifications and stuff for. That's really big. Agile. And that's where you might hear the term Scrum Master and such. That's going to be that. And also Azure.
Azure, yes. That's
another one that was popping up
Yep.
on. Do you got this? Do you got that? Do you got this? And yeah. So that's another thing that you can get smart on.
not just resiliency, but yeah, my brain is getting full. But performance testing. There's all types of things out here, and there's a lot in that I always get this wrong. ISQTB or whatever we just said.
Yep, ISTQB.
That one. They have a lot of information about how to. That's the certification. Once you get that certification, that's a good thing to have.
Yep. Now we're bouncing back and forth all over the place because now we talked about Bitcoin, right? And then you was about to tell us about this new ETF.
Oh, the granny one?
Yes. Talk to us about it. This is a new ETF. So exchange traded funds.
I just heard this today. So
just heard it today.
I watch CNBC. I multitask at work. I listen to CNBC every day just to kind of hear what's going on and how, because they give information about stocks, all of that. Then you get stuff from the White House. You get a whole bunch of things. And so this guy, I think his name is Tom Lee. He's this one finance person that they listen to more so than anybody. He came out today and said they have a he described the granny shot. If people know about that from basketball, where
y'all know what the granny shot is,
the underhand shot, and they call the ETF is GRNY. I might have it backwards, but GRNY. Which one was it?
Let me look. Because I just bought some.
Well, when he mentioned it this morning, it was $17.
Yes, GRNY.
So it was $17. It's an ETF, and he was saying that they have I think they have a couple different ones, but this one they pulled together stocks that are supposed to supposed to last over like the next 10 years to get some good, I guess, dividends or payments. They have stuff in there like Costco, Palantir, CrowdStrike, MicroStrategy, which if you don't know that much about MicroStrategy,
and look, it's $17 right now.
1701. So at the time it was 61 this morning at about 5 in the morning,
and I bought it at 16
right
85.
So by the time I mentioned it to her, I said, well, let's look and see what it is. And now it was I put a limit in for 1685. By the time she looked at it, she said 1685 right now. So I was like, oh, then they picked it up. So I got it for 1685. It's one of those things that you can just, buy one. And then every month you could buy another one if you have $17 or 16, but it holds a lot of good stocks in there.
So these are the stocks it holds, right?
Yep.
So some of the stocks it holds in it is, these are some good ones. Apple, Netflix, Caterpillar, Palo Alto, Advanced Micro Devices, Bank of New York Mellon Corp, Garmin, S&P Global Inc., Abbott Laboratories, Progressive Core. Those are the top 10 holdings. Oh, debt-free dad. Thank you. Thank you for the $5. And y'all know debt-free dad. He also is a YouTuber. He has a channel. Check him out. Again, good financial, good practical advice.
There's more down there because I mentioned Costco should still be in there. Things like that. But ETFs are good if, you know.
JP Morgan Chase,
Yep.
Costco,
Yep.
Microsoft, Nvidia, Goldman Sachs. Y'all know Goldman Sachs, our boo thing. High yield savings account is with Goldman Sachs.
So these are ways of getting, if you get an ETF, you get a small portion of a lot of different stocks until, if you can't afford to buy a whole stock separately, this gives you a group. And you look at the holdings, when it talks about holdings, it tells you what percentage of your $17 or whatever it is, if you have multiple, what is going towards those particular stocks. And at the end of the day, you know, like I said, I did this during COVID. Every Friday, I would get like $30 and I would put $10 on each one of my kids. I would buy them $10 worth of stock. And they got some good stock at that time that ended up, you know, I would try to buy them one stock, but it would take a few weeks for me to get them one stock. But you can it takes a little bit. You can put $5 on a stock. A lot of them will take just cash. You don't have to buy a whole stock. And if you did that on a regular basis and didn't think about it, instead of buying a coffee or a sandwich, you say, I'm going to put $5 here and make my sandwich and bring it to work. And I'm going to put $5 on this. And the next thing you know, you can end up with a lot of stock. And then you'd be happy because they also pay dividends. And so the dividends is just another way of that whole stock growing. But that's a new one that's not that expensive. And this is a good time to get into something that's low, like $16, $17, because a lot of ETFs are above that.
Yeah,
way above. They're in
way
the 200s
above that
and stuff.
Yes.
So you can ride that wave up to 200 and something.
Yeah. So I bought some this morning because I was like, I got a couple of hundred in my account. I try to put money there, usually monthly, and then that way when things pop up, there's already some money in that account that I can go and take some trades with, buy some stocks with, that sort of thing. So somebody asks, Be a G, hey boo. Be a G asks, for an HSA, what happens to it during a layoff/termination?
I don't have one that's her.
I have one, but it's going to be the same thing that is, even if you had well, no, it'd be a HSA. All right, so let's talk about HSA. Nothing happens to it. The money is your money. The money is your money. You have your HSA credit card. You're still able to use the money. The only thing is you cannot add money to it anymore. Depending on if your HSA is through your employer, because that's where the money is usually funded through your paycheck, okay? But the money is there. I have HSAs from jobs that I'm no longer with, from companies I'm no longer with, and I think I just actually finished spending up the last of it from this company from the past. But also with my HSA, it just stays there because guess what? I actually invested my HSA into the market. Look into your HSA. See if you've actually exercised the option to invest it, because you really should. And so therefore, my HSA, whether I had a job or not, would stay invested in the market. So that's what happens there.
Oh, so you guys can't combine them?
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
you can. And because you said, because I used up mine, because at one point I was in the process of combining it, and then I just was like, and I just started using it, and I said, because it wasn't no longer an active HSA, I think it was charging me like $5 a month for a maintenance fee. Yeah. So then I said, and it only had like maybe less than 2,000 on it, so I just started using that to
pay like your medical stuff.
Yeah, deductibles, medicine, whatever, because like I said, again, that whole story of there's always something to do. I just got tired of always having something to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm over this. But you can combine it. You can roll it over to your latest HSA. All right. So next question. This is going to bring us to the interview. First job interview. So we had some questions there. So the question I talked about, clearly you don't watch my videos.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I got a job.
I talked about my first interview, the first job interview after being laid off.
Oh.
And after the end of that video, I said, I got the job.
Oh.
I got the job.
I didn't
It was
see
very
that
dramatic. Because
yes.
I'm dramatic, y'all.
Totally.
So in that video, somebody asked a question. And actually, I actually had this on right now. Look at this.
It's too hot to wear it right now.
I know, I took it off. But it's AWS. Somebody was like, Miss Lynn, she about to be blocked. You're about to be blocked, Miss Lynn. I don't like you. I don't like her.
Wow.
Oh, this lady, she's been on one. She's been on one. And I leave comments because I like, let's have some diversity. Let's have some diversity in the comments.
You and Miss Lynn are kindred spirits.
My
She
thing
asked you the
is,
tough questions. You'll be all right.
my thing is this. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. But we can be respectful. We can. But if you choose not to, you don't have to. You don't have to because I'm here with you. I'm here. So I don't like this person. This person leaves a bunch of ignorant comments. So one of her ignorant comments was this. One of her most recent ignorant comments is that an Amazon Web Service work jacket? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I thought you lost your job. What the heck does wearing clothes have to do with a job? Look at this. What does it say? Big data energy.
Oh my God. Put it down. Put it away. Put it away.
This also is a tech shirt. This is a tech shirt. You know why, booze?
You got swag. You get swag.
We get swag, booze.
We all get it from somewhere. It's okay to wear it. Represent.
And where do we go in every November/December?
So maybe she just doesn't know. But
She don't have to know. She ignorant. I'm sick of her.
She's your nemesis. Let it go.
I'm sick of her. No, I ain't blocked her yet.
So
she ain't blocked yet. It just depends on the day how I feel.
You're gonna get the feedback again. So keep going.
Oh, she's been leaving feedback, but half the time she comments on other people's comments. She's a liar. She's a this. She's a that. This girl be going hard.
Sure, it's not your mom.
It might be my mother. My mother is known to change her name and leave a comment. She is known to change her name and leave a comment and then like her own comment. My mama is known. Okay, so anyways, we go to the Amazon AWS. What does it stand for? Warehouse Service. We go to that conference every year and they give us a lot of swag. And this neat jacket, I love this jacket. It's a pretty good jacket. Was one of the jackets that everybody got. So yeah, I wear my little things that I get from there. But yeah, so we don't know what that had to do with losing a job or not losing a job. Somebody else asked, did you give away all of your corporate clothes? I did not give away all of my clothes, but I did start giving away clothes. And I actually set up for somebody to come by the house to pick up more clothes. And I canceled that. Don't come by my house no more. One of the things I gave away that you guys won't be seeing anymore, case in point, is that peach. You know that peach blazer I have? It's like peachy pinky color.
Is that the jacket?
Yeah, the blazer.
Wait, that you've been wearing at work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day?
Yes. Somebody got it. Somebody was like, oh, I like that jacket. I happen to be wearing it. And they was like, oh, I like it. I was like, you know. They're like, it's yours. I was feeling free. I was feeling free, y'all. I was like, I'm never gonna need corporate clothes again.
You gonna go ask for the jacket back?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna ask for the jacket back because I said this is just an opportunity to. From abundance comes abundance, you know. I never
in the moment.
Yeah, and I never felt like I wanted to feel like this, like, oh, I gotta hoard everything, and because I don't know when I'm gonna get, I don't know when. I just didn't want that energy, and so I had to also keep that same energy when it was like.
As soon as they took it from you.
I think, they sent it to the dry cleaners.
I'm gonna wash this.
Yep, and then even when I said, listen, they was like, you ain't getting it back. They're like, it's fine. So yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. But you know, it's fine. So, but yes, I still do have clothes. I do. It's okay. Can't fit most of them. Should probably give those away. But yeah. All right. So then the next says, Congrats on your new position if that's what you actually want. So let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. Because I really thought that the answer was clear in that last video, only because I felt like the lead up was clear when I would say stuff like, if I got a job, I would take the job. If I got a job, I would go back to my original goals. And my original goals was, I want to pay off my house. I want to pay off my house. So I feel like before getting the job, what did I actually want? I just wanted not to be offered a job. That would have made it easy, right? If I'm not offered a job, I wouldn't have to take a job. Not that I have to, but so that's what I wanted. And I know I mentioned that in several videos. So that's why when I ended the video, I really did not think I was ending it on a cliffhanger. I didn't. And I still feel like I was feeling like, what are the odds? What are the odds that I go on an interview that I would actually be offered the one position? What are the odds? What are the odds, Gwen?
Well, it depends on how many people they interviewed.
That's what I'm saying.
So if there were 10, you had a 10% chance.
So I just felt like the odds were very small, though. You know what I mean? Like, you could go on an interview. It does not mean they're going to actually offer you the job. So somebody then said, now, are you going to negotiate a later start date? Because y'all know we have vacations planned, right? So the question becomes, to take the job, which yes, I accepted the job. What about negotiation? Is there anything to negotiate? There really kind of wasn't, because I'm still with my company that I was with. So I still have all of my same benefits. Gwen did give me a good idea. Remember, you gave me a good idea, because I did have to take a pay cut, guys. I had to take a pay cut. My rate before was $101 an hour. Now my pay cut is $86 an hour. So I am, what did you say, like minimum wage? Like I lost,
right, because
like about $13 an hour.
Well, this goes back to one of the, just changing it up, one of the things I read about a continuing resolution, or what, not continuing resolution, whatever the documents that have been signed to change things. They reduced federal employees that were making a minimum wage of $17.75 or something like that. I think Biden had increased it to 17 something, and now it was reduced back to 13.35 or something like that. So
you think they can see you?
She basically, can you see me? She basically lost what would be minimum wage for some people, is what she lost. And so what else did I tell you? It's like, at the end of the day, you recognize that that's a lot of money for some people. And so you have options and ways of you trying to make that up. So it looks
like I'm losing about $104 a day, $520 a week, right?
Yes.
Less than what I was making before.
Yes.
But it's okay, because I said I'm so freaking excited, because I really feel like it's going to be another testimony of, look how I lost money, but I'm actually making more money than I've ever made before. Let's watch and see how that happens.
Yeah, but there's also how did I put it for you? You're starting another business, and maybe you can make the money up doing something else.
Yeah, because when this happened, remember I told you guys about, if you're being laid off, you have to reimagine your life, but then you also have to take stock of where you are, who you are, what you have. What can you use to actually bring money into your experience, right? And with this layoff, it really lit the fire under my behind to get the crash pad business set up. So that money that can come in. With this layoff, it inspired me to actually start putting out more videos here on YouTube. That's bringing in more money. So there's just no telling what other ways that more money can flow into my experience. But what I know is that I'm not caught up on the dollar amount, because what I know is the money that comes to me is so freaking infinite that sometimes it doesn't even make sense. It's going to be like, how is it that you're making less money per hour, but yet
Well, we
you're
can.
making way more money per hour?
So we use Sebastian as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's working a job and it's a full-time job and he makes $18 an hour and he gets some benefits, but it takes his entire day.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, he is glad he's at a point in his life where he's going to give notice and he's going to go work and he's still going to have to figure out how to get his medical care and all of that himself, but he's going to go work with children and do training or whatever, but he's going to make 25 an hour. But like I said, he's not going to get those benefits anymore. So he's had two other jobs since then. So he does Uber Eats and stuff like that. And he also works for the county, opening up facility buildings and closing them up. So he himself, like outside of my daughter having her two children as full-time jobs in and of
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Yeah.
it's, I think it's kind of what we do is, I think, by example, all my children to some degree have multiple streams of income or try to.
Yeah.
And you just, it's easier to say sometimes, but just give it a shot. There's things that you can do that help. So yes, she's lost more
Some
money,
moolah.
but she can
Mm-hmm.
make it up
Mm-hmm.
other ways.
Yeah.
And
And I'm excited to see how that's going to happen. I really am. So I'm not even sweating this money. I'm really not. And also, the idea, remember, I was preparing myself to leave, period, point blank. And in the leaving meant that that money, none of that money was going to be flowing in. So the fact that I still get to have a good amount of money, because let's not act like even the $86 an hour is a
it's good
small,
money.
yeah, it's
Good
like
money.
it's not, it's fine. And because my bills and my overhead are so small, that none of that really matters, because in doing the math, it showed me how little I need to survive, how little I need. So now I get to continue the journey of paying off my home. Love that. Um, Also, somebody asks, have we ever negotiated for pay? Absolutely. All the time, every day.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But I think what's happening now is the fact that with with all that's happening in the world, that's why I had to take the pay cut with all that's happening, and with the lack of opportunities out there at this point in time. I had to take the pay cut. But normally, yeah, I negotiate not just for money. I negotiate for all the things. I negotiate vacation time. I negotiate benefits. What about you?
Negotiate.
Yeah, they asked, have
I
we ever
Yeah,
negotiated
I
for?
tend to want to negotiate more time, vacation, than
Mm-hmm.
sometimes money. But again, overall, though, I'm thinking about when it's time for me to retire from corporate or from the regular job. I'm probably one of those people who's going to work till, I don't consider it work, but I'm going to be, I'm a busy, I stay active.
Yeah.
So I'll continue to do that. But I think that's very important for me to prepare to do what I'm doing now, to learn what I can learn about trading money, funds, and things like that, and the Airbnb, and then the real estate thing. I keep my license, all those things up, so that when it's time for me to transition from this job, I have a continued income and or whatever I want to do.
Yeah. And so as far as the vacations, Jay and I are still going on our vacation. It's just not going to be as long as I initially thought. We're going to go on less time. So we're still going, because I did already buy we already got the plane tickets. We already have the hotel. So we're still doing that. I'll let them know. And then we're also going to be going on another one, because again, I was planning our life in patches. So I didn't I planned like the first part, and then I was trying to plan the middle part, but then I got some of this part. So I already did this part. So we're still going to go on this part and this part. The middle part, we're just going to come back. So that leaves me to say, guys, because somebody else said something about me dragging out the series or dragging it out. Y'all, this is life. I can't drag it out. If it ain't happened, there's nothing to update, right? So there's not a dragging it out. It's just me updating you guys as things are happening. And so tomorrow, party people,
I'll be at work.
tomorrow is my first day of work.
We won't be working together. Don't work together.
We don't work together. Can I get a ride though?
I told you what time you got to get around.
I can't. I gotta be there at 9.
Yeah, well, I will have already been there.
Yeah, so tomorrow's my first day of work.
And I got a hair appointment, so I can't be dealing with you tomorrow.
And then everything I had said in the one video about all the things I love about my job still holds true.
About your career, you're gonna see what this job is about once you get there. You just love the what we do.
I loved all the stuff around it. Yeah.
Yes.
But I imagine it's gonna be great. But the things still hold true. And again, that I don't know if that goes back to law of attraction or whatever, but everything I said I love, this job also holds a lot of those same perks. What are the odds? What are the odds? So that is it, y'all. I think somebody said, I appreciate your videos even if you milking them. Girl, I'm
not gonna be here tomorrow.
I'm not milking them. I'm like, every single day, it was like new change, update. Y'all, there's even another update.
What's the other update? Don't think of one.
Where's my car?
Oh well,
That'll be in another video.
Oh Lord, we don't have time.
We ain't got time for that one. No. We do not have time. No. But there's an update.
I don't have time for that one. I got
Where's my car?
Little grandson waiting on me somewhere.
I think y'all try to put a curse on me. Where's my car?
Put a spell on you.
But like I said, things be happening super fast. And that's what we're making videos about.
I did want to say one last
What
thing.
You want to say?
Just one last thing about controlling the things that you can control. And if you are able and find a way to get a side job or side business or start something that you've always wanted to start so that you don't have to put your fate in anyone else's hands. And even if it's just a little bit, just start off a little bit. And before you know it, everything is possible. And you may not have to go into a corporate situation. You could leave all that behind and live life the way you want, enjoy the things you want. If it's selling flowers, if it's doing whatever it is, find that for yourself and just start just a little bit. And it'll help you move forward.
And Gen G, I'm going to do it right now. As soon as I get off of this, I'm gonna do it. I'm supposed to look at her budget.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're supposed to have done that already?
Thank you for the reminder. I'm gonna do that as soon as I get off the phone with y'all. Okay. Well, y'all, that is it. That is all that we have. And there you have it. I think I answered all of the questions. I believe we answered all of the questions. Thank you, Gwendolyn, for letting me take up your time.
On my day off.
On her day off. On her good day off. Why ain't you at work?
Actually, I did go to work for 4 hours this morning at 4:30 this morning. Yes, thank you very much.
Hey, boo.
And I normally take Mondays off because that's my one day that I can take care of me, and look at where I am.
Hey, sexy Alex. I know, when is the next live?
Ooh.
You know, the thing about it is I hardly ever do lives. When I wasn't about to have a job, I was going to have a schedule. I don't have a schedule. I don't know. Half the time I be feeling like I don't have nothing to talk about.
It definitely won't be every Monday because I won't be there.
And I won't be there. I won't be there
job.
either. I got a job.
You got a job.
I got a job now. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to take Lynn out so we can celebrate.
Mm-hmm. What did I say I wanted?
You said you want to go for tea.
No. I said something new. What was
you said tea.
No, what was that? Just to say, what was it?
You kind of act like you want to go on a vacation.
Well, that's
Did you?
different.
What did you say?
That,
I feel like you said
that's
a
North Carolina,
plane
the-
ticket.
Girl,
What did you say?
that would go to the 300 something, the $3,000.
Oh, the
psychic.
$300. Okay, reader, the astrology reader,
Yes.
reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, she the plane ticket. She had me buy plane tickets for us. I want my money. So I bought us plane tickets, and then she was like, "Oh,
I had to
did I
cancel.
say that day?"
I had to cancel it.
We didn't get no refund.
We're all right. We're friends.
Give me my money.
Girl, bye. I've done so much for this one right here,
You see what I'm saying?
but I'm gonna get everything that I want. Hey, y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out. I gotta go get my grandson.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Again, thumbs up. And don't, I'm sorry, who was that person's name?
Ooh, Lord, see?
Hold on,
You
what was
knew
her
it was
name?
coming.
Miss Lynn.
Miss Lynn, you keep doing her the way you do it. That taking it to her.
If you
Makes
see
her
there's
think.
nobody responded, you know what happened. You know what happened.
It's making her think as I'm taking my hair out for my appointment.
So, all right.
That's what I've been doing.
Bye, y'all. Look, I don't know how to end.
Well, you got me because I don't know. I can't even see.